Rocky. Shh.
Hello everyone. So hopefully today's lesson you'll find it a little bit easier than the ones we've done previously, which was adding and subtracting algebraic fractions. Now I want you to keep in mind that our key question for today is how do we use our knowledge of fractions, like just number fractions, in simplifying those fractions that would involve algebraic expressions, okay? And those are what we call algebraic fractions, right? So these are our learning intention. We want to learn about algebraic fractions. Essentially, with all these operations, what we want to do with them is to simplify algebraic fractions. And therefore, we want to understand how the laws and properties of arithmetic are applied and extended to algebraic fractions. Okay, so let's probably go straight to our warm-up today. And as you notice there, you've got your home learning, which was set on Maths Online. So please make sure you look at them. It would also have some videos connected to it. So make sure that you watch them before attempting the questions. Okay, so let's have a look at these questions here. It says 4/5. We want to times that with 2/3. So what we know from year 7 or year 8, when we multiply these fractions, we just go on and multiply the top and we multiply the bottom. And so that's what we do today. We say 4 times 2, we get 8, 5 times 3, we get 15. Okay, and then just making sure that your answer is in simplest form. We know that it's in simplest form if we don't have any common factors that are on the numerator and on the denominator that we can cancel out. Okay. Now, sometimes for a given fraction such as this one here, we can go on and do that and say that 6 over 4 times 5 is 20, and 6 over 20 wouldn't be in simplest form. So sometimes a smart way to do that would be for you to firstly cancel out the common factors, so you'll be dealing with smaller numbers. What do I mean? So if we have 2 and 4 there, they've got a common factor, which is 2, and 2 would be 1, 4 would become 2, right? And therefore, you could simply multiply the 3 and 1. That gives you 3. On the bottom, it becomes 2 times 5, which is 10. And as what we've said a while ago, it was 6 out of 20, or 6 over 20. And if you simplify 6 over 20, that would just be equivalent to 3/10 or 3 over 10. Okay, so hang on a minute. I just noticed that this one says add or subtract these fractions, when in fact it should be what? Multiply or divide. Okay, so let's change that now. So the next one would be division. So these two questions here, we want division. And what do we remember about dividing fractions? What we want to do is to flip the second fraction. We've got 3/5. And we flip the second fraction, it becomes 4 over 3. And notice that the division symbol becomes times symbol. Right, and we could do the same strategy as what we did in this previous question here, right, wherein we could cancel out the common factors, which are 3 and 3, and therefore we're left with 4/5 here. Okay, we do the same for the next one. We go 2/3 multiplied by 6 over 1. We have some common factors that we can cancel. We've got 6 and 3, that becomes 2, and that becomes 1. We now therefore would have 2 times 2, which is 4. You could even say 4 over 1, but essentially you want to write it down as a whole number 4. Okay, now there's also two links here to 2 videos. You might want to look at them again for you to just practice multiplying, dividing fractions. Okay, now when those gave you a refresher course on how to multiply and divide fractions, and therefore now we're ready to multiply and divide those fractions that would involve algebraic expressions. Okay, so just like this one here, we've got x over 2 multiplied by 6 over y. We could look for common factors, just like 6 and 2, and 6 becomes what? 3, that becomes 1, and multiply the numerators together, multiply the denominators together. We're left with 3x over 1y, or simply saying that's 3x over y. Okay, the same thing with this one here. You have what? Y and y cancels out, 2 and the 2 cancels out, and therefore what we have left on top is z over x times 3. We don't write x3, but instead we write 3x. Numbers first and then letters. Okay, the other thing that I might probably want you to notice is how I wrote my z. I write the z with a dash, only because I don't want to confuse myself whether I'm writing a 2 or a z. So if I'm writing a z, I want it clearly written with a dash, so it's z. Okay, some small things that might, help you as well when you're rushing through answering questions. If you get used to writing that dash, that would be easier. Okay, right. How do we divide them? So similar to how we divide fractions, right? We would flip the second fraction. When we flip it, that's what we call the reciprocal, or a better term for that would be the multiplicative inverse. And therefore, we've got what? 1 over x multiplied by x over 4. And looking at these two fractions here, we can cancel out the x's, because one is on top, the other one's on the bottom. If they're both on top, you can't cancel them. If they're both on the bottom, you can't cancel them. But what you'd need to do would be to multiply them. Okay, so let's have 1. Essentially, this becomes 1. So 1 times 1 gives you 1 on top and 4 on the bottom. So our answer here is a quarter. Okay, the same thing we do here. We go 3xy over 2 times it by 9y over 4x. Yeah, and therefore, which ones can we cancel? Could cancel the x and the x here. What else? You can't cancel the y and the y there. Can't cancel the 3 and the 3, the 2 and the 4, but instead we need to just multiply them. We have 3 times 9, numbers first and then letters. 3 times 9 is 27, times y squared. Y times y is y squared. And then you have 2 times 4, which gives you 8, right? And that's our simplified fraction for that question there. Okay, so hopefully that helps. I've also put in some links there that you might want to study so that it would help you answer your exercises for today. I've got questions 3 and 4 and 5 for the competent level or meeting level. And you might want to also answer the Mathletics algebra booklet that was given to you. The solutions there are there for you to check your answers. You don't want to be doing the same mistakes over and over again. And I want you to try this extension question here and your exit ticket. Don't forget to write them out. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Stay awesome and see you next lesson. Bye.
Come on, Rocky, let's go.